A broadcasting legend in his own mind. He's known to be prickly and very opinionated. It's time to get in the huddle with your host, Coach Muddle.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Huddle. Nevada Nick and our special guest, Spicy Raider Girl.
Well, thank you for having me, Coach Muddle and Nevada Nick. Happy to finally be on your show. I'm excited.
Yeah, we're glad to have you.
Absolutely. Thanks for taking some time out of your busy schedule to come hang out with us for a little bit.
Yes, you're very welcome.
So, a lot's been going on this past week. We'll get into all that. But first, I want to, get into a little bit about all you're doing. You have your YouTube stuff. You got a ton of things going on.
Yeah, we do. Thank you for saying that. Yes, For Life, our Raider story right here. Boom. If you haven't subscribed to us, please do on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all of the stuff. We have lots of content. We have episodes of how we feel about the transition and about being an Oakland Raider fan. And I don't know if it's a transition, the move, I should say. Also, I have a show twice a week with the captain, the salty son of a gun that all of you know so very well.
We know it firsthand.
Right? So that's on twice a week. Usually it's, when is it? I'm drawing a blank here. Tuesday, Wednesdays, 6 o'clock Pacific, 9 o'clock Eastern, and then we alternate channels. So it's on his channel this week, so we'll be on tonight, and then it's on For Life, our Raider story next week. And catch us on For Life also, our after shows. Our after shows are kind of more sporadic. Sometimes we're like at a drunken party. Sometimes we have special guests. So the after show for the post Raider game reaction, those are always super fun.
Cool.
Yeah, and I saw some of the one they went to Philly. And they weren't too nice to Eagles fans, obviously. But being an Eagles fan,
they were not nice to us.
That doesn't surprise me. They tend to do that, and and it's just like with Eagles fans, it's like they all want to prove. They got something to prove. I don't get it. Like I love the part when you play around and it's like fun but jokingly. I have no problem with that. We go back and banner. I'll do that. But when some guys just take it way too much. I've been at Eagles-Cowboys games, and a guy will just get punched in the face for having a Cowboys jacket on. That's it. Like, he didn't do nothing, and some fan will be drunk and pissed off and go punch somebody in the face. And that's the kind of stuff that gives Philly a bad name. It really is a lot of, good fans who care about their team. But, there's a lot of people that take being an Eagles fan too seriously. And
there was a cameraman in our section, and we were like the only Raiders fans in that section. And so, of course, we're like cheering on our team, just like all the the Eagles fans are cheering on their team. And they the cameramen even ganged up against us. They're like, we're not going to roll until the Raiders fans get out. I'm like, get out. And then they're like, get out of our shot. We want to be on TV. So I have to admit, I did something naughty. So so that they couldn't run it, I had to throw them a little something. Try to put that on network television.
Well, I saw one time, I remember it was a Monday night game. I was with an ex-girlfriend. We went to go see them play the Redskins. And we were up like 30 points. And some drunk guy, it's out on the concourse where you get your food and everything. He goes to do a cartwheel right into an ESPN cameraman with a camera that I would guess was maybe $100,000. One of those real big, great cameras. And the guy pulls over. Right? Camera just broken. And I was just like, oh, my God. But that's why we have a jail underneath the stadium. That's right. Because there's a lot of clowns in Philadelphia.
Well, if I was there, I would have been scrounging around on the ground for extra camera parts.
It's funny. Friends won't invite me to an Eagles game because they're like, you're wearing your Giant stuff. Oh, they don't want me to come. And or I'll invite, hey, I'm going I got tickets. No, I'm not going with you. You're wearing your Giants stuff.
He wouldn't make it out alive because he's an ass, and he would just throw gas on the fire And like, no way I would go to a game with you. No way.
No, listen. I've gone to a bunch of Eagles games. I have some friends that are season ticket holders. They've I've gotten their seats, and it's fine. I'm it's okay.
Coach, when I was 12 years old, when I used to be a Knicks fan. I was a big Georgetown fan and a Lake. So my favorite basketball player ever was Magic Johnson. Loved Magic Johnson growing up. So I was a big Lakers fan. And then, the Lakers thing ended, 91, the HIV happens. Pat Riley goes to the Knicks. I was a big Georgetown fan. So in the 90s, I loved the Knicks. So I was like 12 at a Sixers game and all my Knicks stuff. And some guys like, yo, you fat ass, sit down and go eat some Dunkin' Donuts. I was 12. So it's just imagine, Coach. Yeah, 12 years old. But it was great because it's when the Sixers sucked. So there was more Knicks fans there than Sixers fans. So a group of like big guys from New York stood up and like, leave the kid alone. We're going to kick your ass. So I made out okay. But yeah, they're ruthless.
They said that to
Philly.
you.
I was, oh yeah, it was terrible.
Well, we got the last laugh in Philly. We were the only. It was Mother Moon and I. I just saw her make a comment that the Eagles suck. We were since we were the only fans in the section. I can't remember who the Raiders player was, but he was like pointing at us. So we thought. So we're like, look, like he wants us down there, and the usher was kind of like, well, he must be pointing to you. You're the only one in silver and black. So we get to go down onto the field. We start running onto the field. And the player that waved us on walks past us. And he goes to the usher and he goes, are you going to let my mom down? And he's like, aren't they with you? He's like, I don't know who they are. So we're like taking all these pictures and videos. And then all of a sudden you see like 10 security and police officers and ushers coming. And we're like, we know, we got to go. No big deal.
Was that the Christmas Eve game or Christmas Day game? Okay.
Yeah. Where it was like negative 17.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, it can get cold, too. That's another thing in Philly. I went to the NFC Championship when they beat the Falcons and went to the Super Bowl. They lost to the Patriots. And we had like 20 inches of snow, and it was freezing, and it was just brutal. It was terrible.
Yeah.
Mother Moon just said number 66, question mark?
I thought it was number 53, but I don't even remember who that was that year. Plus, we had been drinking a ton, too, to stay warm, so who knows?
Right.
Now, Coach, you want to get into the last chance you?
Yeah, I want to because, Coach Brown from the previous season, fan of the show, been on the show, and I'm a big fan of the show to begin with. Think that, I am a last chance you guy.
I didn't know
I
that.
played back in the day. I was a JUCO guy. I had to go to JUCO. I had to go that route. So I became a quick fan with that. So sorry. My roommate just came over and put a Cowboys jersey on the chair next to me for some reason. It's like I gotta go wash my shirt now.
You would want to know what would happen if he did that to me.
So, I really felt like this was like terrible. It was the worst. Like if that was season 1, I don't think there would be any more seasons. That's how bad.
Oh wow!
I thought that it was.
Okay.
So, but tell me because and. I get that because I went to a JUCO where they didn't have dorms. They didn't have that stuff. So you had to live, I traveled 2 hours in, traffic to get to campus and do all that stuff. So,
okay.
So tell me, because I've never been to Oakland, so I don't know, just based on watching that show and whatnot.
Yeah, so I didn't have anything to compare it to. I haven't seen the other seasons. I actually just heard about that one, the Last Chance You Laney, because of Oakland. So it was like all the buzz in the town. Like, have you seen this show? Yeah. So that's why I watched it. So I don't have anything to compare it to in that aspect. But I'll just start with like the production value of that show. I thought was fantastic. The way they shot that, I thought was really good. Usually for like a documentary sports show or something, it just doesn't have that high quality production value. I don't know if the others were like that, but I thought that was just really done really, really well.
I just felt like it was more. I don't know. I think we got more involved with in the seasons past, like
Mm,
those coaches, what they do,
okay.
and like more of the what goes on at school. And here it was just about like, oh, these kids try, like, you had the one kid living in his car,
Right.
huge respect, living in your car to try to make make the dream work, and then winds
Yeah.
up going from sleeping in your car to a scholarship to Hawaii, man. That's got to be, how
Yeah,
awesome
that's
is that,
huge. That's huge.
Wow. And then
Yeah,
the
no.
lockdown comes and you're stuck in Hawaii. Where else would you want to be stuck during a pandemic if but in Hawaii?
Right, right. No, I thought the storylines were great, and then since I'm from the Oakland area, I'm you're always going to be partial to the places that you've been, the places that you recognize. The first episode was actually against Modesto Junior College, so I went to MJC before I transferred. So better than you. Thank you. Well, I hope so. I'm kidding. So right away, like I have that connection. Like I went to MJC before I transferred, so it piques my interest in that way. Merchants, where all of the coaches go for their drinks, is actually where For Life Our Raider story came to life. So
Oh, wow.
I have those kind of like personal connections to it. So I enjoy like Laney College. I've done photo and video shoots for that school. So I have like all these different kind of connections in that aspect. Oh, and they had an episode at the Oakland Coliseum playing the A's, and Stomper was in it. I mean,
So now, how did For Life start?
yeah. So since the Raiders moved, we would always get the same questions like, are you still going to be a Raiders fan? And if so, will you travel to games, and will you keep your season tickets? And how do you
Mhm.
feel? And everyone would just ask the same questions over and over and over. And then like when we were at Merchants, we were sitting around with a group of friends, Mother Moon and I, and we were having these discussions. And I hadn't, and this was before the Laney. But I was like, we need to film this because everyone's clearly interested, So like, let's just get around, do a round table and discuss, how we feel about everything. And I had already documented the last 2 seasons in Oakland because we thought that the season before the actual last season was going to be the last. So we had kind of like 2 last seasons.
Right.
So I was already documenting it, and I didn't know what I was going to do with it. I just knew I wanted like this piece of history to have, and to make some piece at some point. And so then, we all sat around. We filmed something. We thought it was going to be like a one-off documentary type thing. We decided to make it into episodes, and it just totally took off in like the Raiders community. People started asking us for like patches and T-shirts, and they want our flags up in like different bars in Vegas and things like that. One of the Raider fans, Hollywood Raider, is putting a wrap on his car with different Raider logos, and ours is one of them. So which has really kind of taken off, which is
Right.
really cool for us.
So now that last game in Oakland,
Yeah.
how did it feel? What did you feel?
Oh my gosh, so many emotions. Like we arrived at like 5 a.m. before anyone else was in. La Familia tailgaters were in Motorhome Row, and they actually are let in by the Raiders before anyone else is allowed to come into the parking lot at 8. So we were already there set up, and we're like, okay, we're going to try to make it through this game without crying. And it's just super emotional in so many ways because it's like we knew we were never going to have that group of people together like ever again. So we're trying to laugh and dance and not cry and all of these things. And of course, we really wanted the Raiders to get a win, which they did not. Mother Moon and I had an incident, but we can't talk about it until December 16th of this year because of a statute of limitations. So, we'll circle back.
Yeah, no, and that's another story. Those are, to me, Oakland and Cleveland were they were just sad. You really feel for the fans. Like I hate to say, but somewhere like Jacksonville, where you don't have a real good fan base, and you don't sell all your tickets, but then you see a fan base like Oakland and Cleveland. It was just sad, especially Cleveland too. Where they go to a totally different team, and then they end up winning the Super Bowl. like
Right.
4 years later. I mean, for a city that hadn't had a championship in all those years, and then obviously the two tough AFC championship losses to the Broncos, it was sad. So now, when you first heard and knew Oakland was leaving, was your
Yeah.
first initial reaction, I'm done, because the emotions and everything, or how did you process that?
Yeah, initially I was like, well, I'll be a fan casually. I'm definitely not keeping my season tickets. Like I'm 100% over this. I was mad at the mayor of Oakland, Libby Schaff. I was mad at Mark Davis. I was just like, it was like this community. It's more than if well we are like our tagline is it's more than a franchise, it's a family. So I felt like our community was being taken away from us.
Mhm.
So I was hurt by that. And like the day after the NFL voted, we get an email from the Raiders saying, would you like to put a down payment on your PSL? And I'm just like, give us
Yeah.
a moment to like
Right.
breathe a little bit before you start asking me for my money.
Right.
So good thing I had that entire season, I think, to know that they're leaving. I think
Right.
that helped a lot. If they would have just been taken right away, I would have probably been
like
like, no,
like like the Colts did in Baltimore. They they
Middle of the night.
picked up the trucks and left in the middle of the night in the snow.
yeah.
Yeah.
If that would have happened, I probably wouldn't have been a season ticket holder. We did decide to keep our season tickets, and I'm so glad I did because I'm gonna be making it rain.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be the destination to go to for all teams. A lot of the
Totally.
teams travel. Like I know the Eagles are in Vegas next year, and everybody in Philly, it's all they're talking about. We're going to Vegas. Let's get the
Yep.
tickets. So
Wait,
you're going to make money.
they're in Vegas. They're on
Because
the schedule. There's no guarantee. It's not
yes, there is,
a
Coach.
50-50 shot of them
No,
being in
Coach, you're wrong. Okay. What happens is the Raiders, did you hear Angela say she was at a Raiders game? Well, we know every year what team you're going to play in the conference. So we played the Raiders. We're through the rotation now. The Raiders are next year. Last time Oakland or Las Vegas was in Philly. So now we're in Las Vegas. Trust me, Coach. I looked it up.
there.
It's going to happen. I'm just saying it's definitely happening. So you don't have to worry about that. Now, Andrew, did they
out there,
with this?
Nevada, Nick?
Yeah, I'll be out there. Trust me, I'll definitely be out there. Now with the stadium, did they? Now did Oakland were they refusing to build a stadium? Did Mark Davis have kind of a point? What was the issue there?
Yeah, so I actually went to the press conference where the mayor spoke, and basically she had one option for Mark Davis to accept. She made it sound like he wasn't like, look, he's not even here to negotiate because he already knew what she was offering. He didn't want to do. Basically, Libby Schaff, Ronnie Lott, and I don't know, however many other owners had this plan to build in Oakland. But the caveat to that was Mark Davis had to sell to that.
Sorry.
No, we're good.
We're good.
So Mark Davis had to sell a piece of his team. And honestly, from a business standpoint, if you can keep your team, own it 100%, move, not have to put any money in and get a brand new stadium, it's like if you take the emotion out of it, that's a no-brainer.
Right.
So
now, do you look at the point of, okay, obviously in Oakland with the stadium, you needed a new stadium. I think, obviously you knew that. I mean, I get, I knew with the vet, I love the vet. Like we would say it was our dump, but we did know in Philly you needed a new stadium, needed to upgrade. Everything's about luxury boxes now and the PSLs. That's what it's all about. And that's the one thing it is tough because I know with the vet, when you went from the vet to the link, it just becomes much more corporate. It does. It does take that average fan out a little bit. Now, you still have the hardcores, but it's expensive, and sometimes it can price out your average fan. There's no doubt about that.
Nick, isn't the link? They were I think the last new stadium right before PSL kicked in, right?
No, the link. There was PSLs with the link. I know that because I remember how much they were.
Actually, the Oakland Raiders had PSLs in 1995 when they moved back from LA.
Wow. Yeah. So there you go. So now with the new stadium, if Mark Davis takes and it helps your franchise, will that make it a little bit easy, better too? Because then, with the new stadium, you're bringing new revenue, and it's a new market. So maybe you spend more money on free agents. Maybe it's more attractive for free agents.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the Raiders have had 2 winning seasons in 20 years and one 500 season, and we're still there day in and day out. Of course, we want them to win, but again, it's selling out like that to me is just like not everything. So
No,
yeah, am I going to be happy when they win? Sure, but I'm like, I don't know. I don't really see it that way personally. I know. My opinion is, I'm not over it yet.
no, I understand. It's a shame they couldn't work things out. Like you'd think somehow they could work something out because now aren't the A's are getting a new stadium this year, right?
No, I think A's have been in the talks for years and years and years. And honestly, if they don't come to some agreement soon, like I feel like the A's could be in Vegas also.
Wow.
Now, didn't the what's the basketball team? Didn't they move?
The Golden State you're talking about,
Golden
right?
State Warriors moved to San Francisco.
Right, because they couldn't get something done.
They couldn't figure it out. Right.
Wow.
Right. So
this Oakland Mayor has lost 2 teams in basically consecutive years.
Right. And they're about to lose another one.
Like so much.
And look, I know the Warriors are big right now, but there's nothing like the Raiders. You know what I mean? That's just tradition, and wow, that's crazy. Now on to the Raiders this week. So, last week I want to say. So I had talked to your other partner, Captain. He was a little ticked off at me because just last game, personally, I thought the Chargers were the better team in that game. I really did. Now Las Vegas won. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
And that's a sign of a good team too when you're winning games that you probably got outplayed. And I just, like I said, I put the stats to Captain. He didn't like it, but how did you feel that game? Did you think they got outplayed, or how did you think it went?
I think the better team won. I think it was a pretty evenly matched game. I think they were going in. It was kind of back and forth between who the underdog was, and let's just give Zay Washington for that defense. I mean, to go in with one hand and rip his hand off, and with the other hand swipe the ball away. I can start cussing like the Cap if that will help. Muddle, listen to me.
And you took that question a lot better than Captain did sometimes.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Bobby Buchanan.
Well, I think, like I said, with Captain, I thought sometimes I get it. You got 2 non-Raiders fans, and sometimes we didn't do it on purpose. We just had different opinions, and I think he'd feel ganged up on. And look, he's a big Raiders fan. Like I said, I thought the Raiders got outplayed Sunday. I thought the Chargers should have won the game, but that's the Chargers too. They've done that all year. They're just a bad team, and I think, well, I shouldn't say they're a bad team, but I think Anthony Lynn, they're definitely not a team that should be 2-6. So,
can I say this though, with Mahomes being the top dog in the conference, if not the entire league, and really Derek Carr's team still trying to figure it out with that Chargers up and coming quarterback. If the Raiders don't make a move soon and start really getting good, I mean, the Raiders can go from I don't even know if you can say they're really a solid second even, but second to third really fast.
Yeah.
If Herbert starts
honestly. I see flashes from Denver. They haven't. There's pieces that puzzle's there. They haven't put that. Like Drew Lock has those flashes. Like I know.
Yeah.
Look, I was high on Drew Lock. I was surprised he fell as far as he did, and he can throw the football and move it around. They put some pieces around him. Be careful. I honestly think, I mean, you do have still, he's out this year, one of the premier pass rushers there. They did sign a running back, but of course, injuries and stuff. But you put a couple of weapons around him, I think they might be dangerous. And, you might be, it could be Denver and Vegas battling for third place.
Well, but like what Angela said, and it's true, when you look at that division over the next decade, it's going to be tough. Right. I mean, the Chargers are now in LA in a brand new stadium, so you'd think that would mean they gave Bosa
stadiums for the Raiders, mind you.
They gave Bosa a big deal. Now Herbert's on that rookie deal, which helps you go spend money on other players. Yeah. Now the Chiefs did just pay Mahomes, the huge contract. So does that trickle down a little bit? Mahomes, man. He's special. I know you don't, but he really is special. And there's a lot of talent there. So, yeah, the Raiders How now, Derek Carr? How do you
Mhm.
feel about him? Do you think he's the guy, or would you go elsewhere?
I think I like Derek Carr. I think he can be the guy. I wouldn't want to give up on him at this point because I feel like they really are starting to build something. Unless
Mhm.
they know that they're going to be able to get somebody that's going to come in and almost know for sure that they're going to do the trick. I don't think at this point you go and try to draft somebody and completely start over in
Yeah.
that aspect. So yeah, I think Derek Carr is a guy for now. We have to stick with him. I do think he deserves some of the tough love that we give him as fans. I mean, I used to cuss at him in Oakland. I'm not gonna lie, but
Sam Darnold will be available for a
hear the
fourth round
pain.
pick.
What's that?
He said,
Sam
"Sam,
Darnold will be available for a fourth round pick.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's a good call. I mean, I don't
Why?
think.
I love that. He's
yeah,
on the
but
Jets.
I
He's
know, but
on the
still,
Jets.
but
That is. Let me tell you something. That's like a prison sentence, man.
no, you're
The
right.
guy served his time, and then he's going to go somewhere and he's going to win a Super Bowl. I guarantee it.
Oh, you could be
heard it
right,
here.
Coach. But where I'll agree with Angela, there's too much unknown with Darnold. At least you do know something with Derek Carr, and with the draft, you're going to be 20 or later. So unless you're going to trade some of those draft pieces that Mayock's put together, which I wouldn't do either, and move up.
Right,
Which
but
how far can they move
you're
up?
going to get a top 5 quarterback
Sam
for
Darnold?
a fourth round pick. Right, he
But
was drafted in the top 5. He was
that
drafted.
doesn't mean you're a top 5 quarterback. You're anointing him as a top 5
No,
quarterback.
no. No. I'm saying you're getting a top 5 draft pick for a fourth round pick. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with her. I would,
Well,
with Angela.
the Raiders are going to be short on a pick this year because Gruden doesn't know how to wear his G-string properly. So
Hey, speaking of that, I went out. My roommate and I, we met my daughter out for dinner one night, and the waitress comes up wearing this like leopard skin. I guess it's a face mask, but it was hanging off of her, like hey. And I swear it looked like I was like, she wearing her underwear or what? Did she grab the wrong mask or what?
right, that's all she had, and she needs that tip money.
Right.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, man. It was kind of like the debate at the table. Like every time she came by, can we figure out if it's a mask or not?
Now, Angela, do you think the Raiders will end up making the playoffs this year?
Yeah, I definitely do, especially with the new structure. The new playoff structure for the NFL. I
Mhm.
see that. I see them getting in. How far they go, I think, will just really determine, who they're lined up against, and
Yeah.
it's, you know, who knows. It's hard to be a Raider fan.
Well, you know what? Honestly, if I was a Raiders fan, I know like how the Eagles, when they started getting going, I would almost be happy if you got into the playoffs and got one win, or were at least very competitive, close
Yeah.
game. That's a step. It's a step in the
Right.
direction. Like I remember with the Eagles, we were, so bad. Then Andy Reid comes over, 5-11 year, and then boom, next year we make the playoffs. We beat the Bucks in the first round. We end up losing the coaches Giants, and they go to the Super Bowl, but it felt good. And then we had that giant hurdle we couldn't go over. They remember they beat us coach like eight straight times
Yeah.
with Strahan and those guys. And then finally on Monday night, McNabb beats them, and you start building something. And look, I do think with the Raiders, they're definitely headed in the right direction. And I think the game.
It didn't the previous game McNabb gets sacked like 10 or 11 times by the Giants.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad.
Wow.
Yeah, but I think the big game for you guys this year is going to be the Dolphins. I said that on December 27th. The Dolphins are 5-3 right now.
Yeah.
It's December 27th. I think that's going to be a big game for Vegas. Those two may be fighting if the Dolphins don't get the AFC East. They could be fighting for that last playoff spot.
Definitely. Stiz, did you go to Captain's hairdresser? Captain's stylist?
His stylist. When he said that, I was just like, I don't see Captain having a stylist.
Yeah, did you get a mani-pedi too there, Steve?
Nick, with that said though, I'll have my eye on the game tonight because I think the Colts can be a challenge for the Raiders potentially too. I mean, their defense is really good. They're holding teams to less than 100 yards a game or something
Right.
like that.
Yeah, no, right. But see, that's why I don't understand the Phillip Rivers move. I think anybody who watched him, like, look, great quarterback in his day, but his day's passed. And I think now he handcuffs them. And you saw it last week. that defense is good. Their offensive line's good. And I think if they just had changed quarterbacks, put Tannehill on the Colts, that's a totally different team, I think.
Put just Jacoby Brissett back in. I think he gives them a better chance to win. He's more athletic anyway.
Yeah, but I wouldn't take any.
He won with them. He did win with them.
Yeah,
he won as their quarterback. If he was that bad, they would have jettisoned him
but
off the team. They didn't. He's there. He's still there.
What are they?
Put Teddy Bridgewater in there.
Are they 5-3?
Yeah, 5-3.
5-3.
Correct. Yeah, 5-3. But like I said, put Teddy Bridgewater on that team. I think they might be 6-2. You know, I know it's only one win, but there's a huge difference between 6-2 and 5-3. That's a 12-4 team compared to a 10-6 team, where you're possibly, you know, looking at a bye than just being maybe a wild card team. So, I mean, but it's a big game tonight for the AFC South picture. And I'm just going to give my game out, Coach, if you don't mind. I like the Titans tonight. There's been a huge point swing. The Titans opened up as I think like a 2.5 point favorite. Colts are favored by 1 now. So you're seeing a huge swing. And in gambling, you go the opposite of the public. The public's usually wrong. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to go the other way. And then also, sad to hear too, Corey Davis's brother died, the receiver for the Titans. You see a lot in football. I mean, Angelo witnessed one of them when Favre's dad passed away, and Favre lit them up that night. Not sorry to bring up bad memories, Angelo, but you know. So football teams rally around each other a lot. And the Titans are a good team. I think they might rally around their teammate tonight. I wouldn't be surprised too if Corey Davis gets a touchdown. But no, I like the Titans tonight.
Yeah, thanks for bringing up that memory, Nevada.
Sorry.
I'm kind of like sentimental like that. You know, I was happy for him. That was a big night.
Yeah,
and honestly, the Raiders were probably 0 whatever anyway.
Right, and plus with the tragic nature of it too, in a car crash and all. Yeah, I'm sure it's one of those games you just, you know, you can deal with it just because of the situation.
Are you Coach Muddle? Does Nevada Nick have permission to give out his Raider pick, or did we have to wait?
You know, I let him.
It's not one of my picks, Coach. It's not one of my picks.
Well, go ahead. It's fine. It doesn't matter. You can.
Okay, so the line's 5. I think the Raiders definitely win the game. I don't know that I'd lay 5 points though. Divisional game. A lot of divisional games are close. If I had to bet it, I would lay the 5 with the Raiders. I probably wouldn't bet the game. I have bet the Raiders already though. And Andrew, you might not know it. There's a thing called a tease bet, where you can take the line and move it 6 points, but you have to take 2 games, and they both need to win. So I'm going to take the Raiders to +1 from -5. So you move the line 6 points. So I put the Raiders +1, and then the Ravens -1. The Ravens were 7 in a tease. But no, I think the Raiders win the game, but I wouldn't lay 5 points because, you know, they're tough games, especially the Broncos. It's a rivalry. Yeah, I don't like laying a lot of points in those kind of games. And I see not a back and forth type of game, but you can be up 10 points late and they score a late touchdown to make it 3, you know, meaningless, and then you cover. So, I would, but I definitely think, and this is a game, like I said last week, this is a game the Raiders need to win. You must win these kind of games, especially going into Kansas City next week. You don't want to be 5-4, you know, with looming possibly 5-5 against the Chiefs and that kind of pressure on you with a road game in Kansas City.
Definitely. Then still having to play the Broncos in Denver.
Yeah.
And likely the freezing cold. So that's, you know.
Right. Yeah, and they still have the Dolphins too, who are playing pretty good. So yeah, I mean, but I said 10-6 earlier in the year. I think Captain said 10-6 too, and I really think that's about where they're gonna end up. And then, like you said, we'll kind of see who they play in the playoffs in that first round, because I could definitely see them winning a playoff game. I like where they're headed.
Ryan agrees with you, Nick, so we're good now. Hey, we got his stamp of approval. Thank you, Brian. We appreciate it.
So, Brian Boo. Oh, hey, Boo.
So I think this is a bigger game for the Titans tonight, to be honest with you. They're coming off a loss to Cincinnati.
No, Titans won last week, Coach. Yeah. They beat the Jags. They beat – wait, no. Didn't – no. They lost to Cincinnati 2 weeks ago. Titans –
2 weeks ago?
Yeah,
Throw it
Titans
last
won
week.
24-17.
Oh, no.
Titans beat the Jags, I think. I'll have to look it up. Hold on one second. Sorry.
Look it up. I thought they lost Cincinnati last week.
No, I know the Titans won. I remember it was 24-17. I'm looking it up right now. Just bear with me. But, I mean, it's a big game either way because it's home. Yeah, they beat that's who it was. They beat the Bears last week, 24-17.
Oh, right.
Right.
You're right.
But it's still, I mean, it's a home game on a Thursday night, short week against a division rival. You got to, and you could really it's not over, but if you put the Colts to 5-4 and you move to 7-2, that's significant. It's 2-game lead, and you got the tiebreaker as well. So you got a nice stranglehold on the division.
And that puts, Indy even further back in that playoff wild card hunt.
Yeah. Well, it's a lot of what happened last year. Remember, Indy started out really good with Brissett. I think they were 5-1 or 5-2. Brissett gets hurt.
Right.
And, I just think they have too much to overcome with that inept offense. I mean, I don't like Rivers, and I don't like the receivers either. They can run the ball, but when you know a team's gonna, that's their thing. You stop the run, and then it seems like the Colts can't really do much.
Speaking of which, let me throw this out at you. Did you hear Lamar Jackson said the defense was calling out their plays?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that was very quarterback-like. You know what I mean? You're kind of throwing your offensive coordinator under the bus.
Right.
Maybe talk about that in-house, and say, hey, guys, which he's got a point, obviously. You don't want the other team calling out your plays, but I think that's something that gets handled in-house because you're kind of showing up your offensive coordinator because now they're going to go take that question and ask him.
Right. And I agree with that. I mean, that's not something you put out there, I mean, I can, as a commentator, I would put that out there if I heard it. I heard it, I mean, that's different coming from an outsider or maybe the defense saying, oh, we knew the plays, but for the quarterback to come out and say it.
Well, it was kind of like the whole Gruden Carr thing when Carr did the audible with his wife's name. And yeah. And, Gruden played it off like he didn't know, which I don't believe one bit. That John Gruden doesn't know an audible call in his offense. But still, how we do with the media, you give them, one little thing and they're going to try to turn it and, make a story out of it. There's no doubt about it.
Right. You're right, Brian. He said every team's been doing it. But, well, look, you know what I'd say? I say, Lamar Jackson, why don't you buck up and throw the football? How about that?
Yeah.
Why don't you play a little better and throw the football? Maybe people wouldn't know hey, your betting counters back there keep trying to sneak out the room or something behind you.
They're back there counting the money. They're back there counting the money.
You got to see it. He's got a room. They got the old school chalkboard, putting odds up there.
We finally had a sighting of his bookie.
Yep. 6, 7. It's got 7 women back there, all answering phones. Phones.
I wish.
Taking lines. It's crazy.
Well, me and Stiz are getting ready because we're going to AC this weekend. So, which I think, are we doing Saturday, Coach? Is that what we're going to do?
Yeah, we're going to tape for everyone. We're going to tape Sunday's show Saturday.
What's AC?
So, Atlantic City.
Oh, okay.
So we're gonna.
I don't know the East Coast lingo.
Yeah. So we're gonna tape the show Saturday evening. Do the Saturday night show, and then we'll go from there. So that'll be the thing. So anyone wanting to check it out, I think we should still air it live. No,
yeah, we will. We can't do comments. Just share it in the morning again at 10 a.m. That's all.
Yeah, we just can do it that way.
Yeah, it's not that hard, Coach. We just want to have comments. We'll be all right.
You can be online while it airs and comment with the people.
Yeah, I didn't think that's a good point, Andrew.
That's a little past.
I will probably be on like a 13-hour bender.
Advanced. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I'll be on a 13-hour bender by that. I'll be at a blackjack table, or that's probably not going to happen. When I go to AC, that's probably not going to happen.
Because we got a. We got a big game on Sunday. Giants Eagles. Giants win. They're back in the race. for the AFC
What's
East, man.
the entire conference has a losing record, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
And 6-10's winning that division. Come on now.
That's insane. I wish
Angela just said what
that's
race,
the move I could
basically.
have got on board with. I could have got on board with the Raiders move to that conference because they could have maybe finished first. No, I'm kidding.
No, it's bad right now. I mean, look, I think with the Eagles and Cowboys, you can't deny the injury part of it. I mean, Dak Prescott with the
Here,
Cowboys.
big news for you and Stiz. I'm posting it right now. Breaking news.
Oh no.
No, it's tonight, actually, it starts. We know already. Dude, by 10 o'clock on Sunday, we're going to be drinking all day. I'm going to be 3 sheets to the wind anyway. I mean, so I'm not worried about Sunday. Saturday, we were a little bit disappointed for that. You know, me and Stiz were planning to go, club to club, Stiz
Just
is
make
Stiz
sure
is
to get all your booze so in case they shut down. Like when we were in Philly, they told us to go to like Delaware for booze. I was like, are you kidding me?
Wow. That's where Coach lives.
Yeah.
No, I'm not knocking Delaware.
No,
I'm
I
just
know.
saying,
Yeah,
I'm not Delaware
nice
anyway.
booze.
Did you see Wayne's World, remember? Delaware. Yeah, Delaware.
Delaware?
Yeah.
No, I'm not knocking Delaware. I just was like, why can't I just get booze before the game,
Yeah, well, in the stadium too, it's so ridiculous. I mean, what's it like? It's like I think it's like $18 an hour. It's some ridiculous amount for a beer.
Yeah,
I mean, to get
$18.
drunk, yeah, Jason Dean, I'm a clubber, baby. You'd be surprised.
Yeah, he's gonna have his what is that? The I can't even think of that stuff. The glow in the dark sticks, and he's gonna be all rocking out, man.
Yeah, if I did maybe, but no, not.
But honestly, back to some football. I think the Giants, who are, by the way, the best 2-7 team in the league, they are glow sticks. Thanks, Brian. Thank you for that. But they are. I think the Eagles are kind of in some trouble right now. I don't think Carson Wentz, man. I think he's put too much pressure on himself, and he's folding like a cheap lawn chair, man.
Uh-oh.
I don't think he's folding. I just, there's problems. There's no doubt about it. I think there's a confidence problem. There's no doubt about that. But Coach, you got to know too, when you don't believe in your offensive line, and I think that's a problem with him. Instead of going back and being comfortable and setting your feet, he's not looking.
He's got happy feet. He does.
But he's looking at his line first too, because he's thinking, I'm going to get killed. I mean, I'm not making. I know it sounds like I'm making excuses for him, but I'm not done with Wentz yet. I know. Give it time. I'm a Wentz guy. I'll go down with him. Simple as that.
What I haven't followed. What's the news on Ertz? Anything happen with him?
He's done. I don't think he comes. I don't think we see him in an Eagles uniform the rest of the year.
Yeah.
No, he's going to play, Coach. He's back in a couple of weeks, I think. Unless it's worse than they're saying, he's supposed to be back. But no, this might be his last year. He's not happy with his contract. There's no doubt about it. So
what's a good landing spot for him? Do you think?
I mean, supposedly Green Bay tried trading for him, but because he's on the IR, so I mean, I think Green Bay's one. Wow, let's see. What two needs a tight end? But I mean, yeah, Green Bay's the one who probably would stick out the most, and then obviously any team that is not in the NFC East. If you're going to get good compensation, I would trade him because if he wants $15 million along the lines of Kittle and Kelsey, I don't think he's worth that anymore. I love Ertz.
Jason Dean. I was just going to say Cardinals.
Yeah, that's a good one, Jason Dean. That is a good one. They could use that piece. You got Hopkins. I love Fitz, but Fitz is definitely getting up there too. So that would be a nice piece to put with Kyler Murray, no doubt about it.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I don't think this is a way long shot, but New England.
Yeah.
New England. Bill Belichick loves the tight end, and if he can get him on the cheap, he might be able to. So
yeah, but I think Bill's going to be looking for a quarterback first. I think he knows now Cam. It looked good early on, but now, and look, I'm not blaming Cam.
I regret that Raider law. The Raiders are going to regret that one to get that one back. Wow,
that's the one that looks the worst. I would say.
Right?
I mean, the Bills. I think the Bills are still a good team. They just had a couple bad weeks. But that's the one, you got to question. But I mean, who knows? But like I say, football is so weird. You just don't know week to week. Look at the Bucks.
I was
1
just
week,
gonna say, what do you think? Well, I think I was just gonna bring that up. The cancer that is Antonio Brown, in my opinion, comes in, messes up the chemistry. I'm just gonna blame it on him. So
well, and Angela, that's where he becomes a problem.
right,
If you're winning and everything's great, I don't think AB's a problem. But when you're losing and you got 3 wide receivers who, I'm not saying they're all divas, but it's a diva position, and they want their targets, their catches, and you start getting that chatter, and I'm sure Brady isn't going to go good with that. And then we haven't even talked about Gronk, so we'll see what happens. We'll see.
But AB is Tom Brady's boy. For some reason, somehow he's living with Tom Brady. Come on. So, I mean, I don't know. But I agree. When things are going good, of course they're fine. It's the OBJ, same thing. When things are going good, it's fine. When things are bad, he's going to bitch and whine about it.
Yeah,
So,
and the Bucks get a little lucky in the fact that the NFC isn't as strong as the AFC this year. The NFC, it's pretty much. I mean, the Seahawks are good, but I don't love the defense. The Packers, I think, can be run on. My team was the Saints. I think they really showed you when they had their full complement of players with Michael Thomas. They could be a tough team to beat. Look at Jason Dean.
I know, right? I just want to circle back to Kyler Murray. I've got a personal chip on my shoulder with him. I'm always going to root against him because the Oakland A's drafted him, wasted a draft pick on that guy, and then
how high of a draft pick was he? Wasn't it pretty high too?
It was pretty. Yeah, it was a real. I don't remember exactly, but it was a really high draft pick. Drafted by the A's, went and worked out with them, batting practice, the whole thing, and then got drafted and decided that he was going to play football.
Right. And I think even going into college, I thought he had said he was still going to play baseball. And then he has the huge year, and then I guess decided that, which I don't know, man. Look, I think for him, it might have been a lot more. It's harder to be successful at baseball than football. But, man, the body, you don't get beat up as much. Right. And the money's definitely pretty damn good in baseball, but I mean, look at quarterbacks do get paid too. So,
he's
I saw something the other day. Whatchamacallit, the Steelers are still paying AB as part of that when they traded him to the Raiders.
So are the Patriots.
Oh wow.
Yeah, no, the Patriots only his deal was nothing because remember he was still getting paid from the Raiders or whoever else, so they didn't have to pay him much. But the Steelers, I think, still have like $8 or $9 million on the books of AB's money.
Mm-hmm. Now, Angela, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, what did you think about his 8-game supposed suspension where he wasn't unemployed and then
I thought the rule was he had to sign with a team and then the suspension starts.
Right.
That's the way I always read it, and then all of a sudden he gets to just sit out 8 games.
How are you going to be suspended when you're unemployed?
Right.
Yeah. No, it doesn't make sense, but I think he said at the beginning of the year that he wanted his punishment to be announced. But I thought the same thing, that you'd have to, how if you're not on a team, is that a suspension? You know what I mean? 8 games of what? He wasn't on a team. So, yeah, no, I agree with that. I mean, and look, I understand you're innocent until proven guilty, but man, those aren't. And I think it's multiple situations that he's gotten accused of. So and the NFL after the whole Ray Rice thing, completely trying to distance themselves from anything of that nature.
Right.
So I was a little surprised. Now, Angela, how many episodes are you guys going to do? Because I saw your last one. I'm drawing a blank on what it was.
Yeah,
do you know how many you're going to do?
We're on season 4, episode 2. We have 2 more episodes in this season that I have to release. Kind of things getting back rolling again with filming and real life. I haven't had a chance to kind of finish those up, and I don't think that we've really decided how far we'll take this. Like I said, it kind of started accidentally. So right now, we'll be wrapping season 4 within the next couple weeks, and then right now we'll do all of the post game shows and live shows with Captain Jack and things of that nature. And we have like a lot of special interview candid conversations, we call them, with different Raider like super fans and stuff that we're going to be releasing as well.
Yeah.
Cool.
Now, I'm sure that was one of the disappointing things that, obviously with COVID and everything, you have the new stadium and you guys couldn't even get to experience. I know it's not in Oakland, but are you looking forward to that first game where you can, I'm sure you missed, all your Raider fans and family, that you can go to the stadium and enjoy the game?
Definitely. I was out there for the home opener and I was at the stadium when the flyover happened and all of that. And I don't really know how to explain the emotion, but I definitely felt some kind of way and I felt emotional just kind of being there. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that. I am annoyed that UNLV gets to go and watch their team play before Raiders fans do. I don't think that should be allowed. People are, giving me kind of some crap.
Was UNLV using the same stadium?
Yes.
Yeah.
Really?
And they get fans in the stands.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So to me, that's super annoying. And people are coming at me like, well, it's not like your stadium. It's not the Raider stadium. Yeah, but we helped pay for it. They did not. That's like a bonus. That was like a bonus for them.
No, you didn't. No, I
bought a bolt, okay? I bought one bolt with my PSL.
No, but your PSL doesn't pay for that.
It does.
No, man.
Oh, you're saying Vegas paid for it?
Paid for the stadium, so they just are.
The fact that I love is for years, Vegas was never going to happen, and then gambling gets legal, and the NFL bucks up and takes the advertisers on, and it's all about money. And just like, why do you think there's an injury report every week? One reason: Vegas is the money lines. It's what it's all about, and they're not stupid. Football knows. Football's exploded. When you got to 2000, that's one thing I always said about Vince McMahon when he tried to do XFL the first time. I know he didn't do it the proper way and it didn't succeed, but he knew football was exploding. And two of the biggest reasons, fantasy football and then obviously the gambling factor. And I mean, if you look now, no doubt, football is America's game. It's not baseball.
Right.
Baseball used to be America's pastime and all that. Football is the thing now. Like I know in Philly, football town, obviously Oakland, when the Raiders were there, I would say, it was a football town. Would you, you're there from there. Would you agree with that or no?
That Oakland's more, or that
when the Raiders were there, it was obviously a football town, Oakland.
I don't know. Yeah, that's a hard one. I feel like I would have said yes before kind of starting this show. I feel like I'm really starting to recognize that we all know that the Raiders travel well and they're the Raider Nation, they're widespread, but that there's probably more non-locals that are fans.
Right. Now, I'm going to throw one baseball one before we get ready to get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Does the new ownership of the Mets worry you as an A's team? Because let's face it, they're a five and dime organization. They don't pay anybody. They do a great job because they're a playoff team every year, but they're kind of like the Rays. They do things on the cheap, and I think we're going to start to see this pendulum swing where if you're not spending money, you're going to get forced to sell to a guy like one of these rich billionaires, and he's going to start spending money like it's, candy.
Well, I'm sure Angelo wants that. That's the problem with the A's. Not to be, but I don't think the Mets really, because it's different leagues, you know what I mean?
No, I just mean that I think baseball's starting to turn. Like you're getting more people having to spend money, and the Yankees, being a Yankee fan, they've done it for years.
But a lot of it's still through the minor league system, though. If you have a good minor league system and you run your team well, which A's and Rays are two of the better run teams, it's what I would say the problem with the A's more is they've kind of had a ceiling. And it's
Always.
how do you blast through that ceiling? And in regards to the Mets, that's
you
one
pay
thing.
your players and you keep your players, I think, and not be cheap. Like you don't sell all of your great players. You don't get rid of Liam Hendricks, the reliever of the year, and not even offer him a contract. Yep. That's how. And then you acquire other players as well. It's like, once the A's ever have to finally pay somebody, they let them go. And it's always a rebuilding year for 30 years now.
Yeah. I mean, they have two guys that were in top 5 for the Cy Young voting, though. So I think the future is there. It's just, they kind of have that Marlins issue. And then when their players come due to pay, they kind of just walk, pretty much leave. I mean, you saw it in the early 2000s with that super, super talented A's team with Giambi and all those guys. So we'll see what happens. Coach, real quick, Mets, I'm putting this out there now. I already bet it. They're 25-1 to win the World Series. I think that's great odds because Cohen laid it out. He said, if we don't win a World Series in 3 to 5 years, it's a disappointment. I mean, they probably don't win year one, but getting 25-1, you already got DeGrom and you got Syndergaard, and they're going to go spend money this year. So the Mets are going to be
out there to Bauer about being a Met, and they're already.
And imagine that rotation: DeGrom, Bauer, Syndergaard. Mets are going to be for real in year one.
Listen. I heard this earlier today that most of these free agents that were able to opt in, all opted out because they're hoping the Mets will spend the money and start a bidding war.
Yeah, I just hope we don't lose Real Malto because I think
he's already going. He might as well already have a Met uniform on, buddy. He's done. So, but
did I take that bet also, Nick? I don't know how to bet. When I see you in Nevada next year when the Eagles are in town, I'm just gonna hang out with you and pretty much copy your homework.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we're getting it. Look, Stiz is what is it, 14-2? Yeah, 14-2 with his prop bets. And last 20 games I'm 15-5. So we're hitting our midseason form right now.
There you go. What is Stiz saying?
I'll bring my talents and looks to Saturday. Oh, he's saying okay. Yeah, he said he saw. I guess you had a video up with Little Chucky, I think it was, Angela, and you had freestyle music on in the background. Stiz was a DJ, and so that's his favorite music is freestyle. Yeah. Yeah,
no, Little Chucky's awesome. We hung out with him, and now he's from the LA area, so we hung out with him all weekend. We went down to SoFi, the new Raiders stadium in LA. No, I'm kidding. So I'm taking a video of this kid. He just turned 5 like 2 months ago. And I was like, okay, let's come up with something clever to say. And he's like, I want to use my own words. And he was like, and he's 5. His voice changed. He's like, Chargers are going to lose, not win, not get a trophy. I was like, who is this kid? Who did you just morph into? Yeah, he's awesome. I'll keep bringing you Little Chucky content. Don't you worry.
Yeah.
Awesome. So,
and you want to plug your stuff again quick, Angela, before we go?
Yeah, go ahead before we go. Plug it.
Yes, thank you. If you haven't already, please subscribe for Life, our Raider story on YouTube. We have a bunch of episodes and content, most Raider-based content, so Raider fans. But if you're not just a football fan, check us out. And then Wednesdays on my channel and Captain Jack channel, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern.
All right. Awesome stuff.
Yep.
All right, everyone. We'll see you guys. We're taping Saturday, but we'll be airing it on Sunday. Make sure you check us out. And, but we'll be back live on Monday. So thanks, everyone. Angela, thank you very much.
Thank you, Angela.
Guys, it was fun. Thank you.
And Nick, everyone, thanks for hanging out. We appreciate it. And we'll see you guys next time. Thanks.
Yep. And Jason Dean, we're going to get it in, buddy.
Oh, today's Thursday. Is today Thursday?
Yep.
Today's Thursday.
Sorry, really quickly. We switched days tonight. We're on tonight at 6 on Captain's channel. Check us out.
Yep.
Okay.